Good morning, Maya back. Here's the plan. Walls upstairs in the house. Perimeter wall over round at the west end of the property. Today could be the day we start to see some of those big old tree stumps coming out. And at the swimming pool, we might start to see the next step in the process. What could possibly go wrong? Well, we'll start up here at the west wall with the fact that I was wrong. Not exactly a first. I thought all of the top beam had been done. Morning, Ali.
Morning.
I thought all that top tie beam had been poured. Clearly it hasn't, because that's what they're doing now. Yesterday I said down to that corner was all done, but in fact they had poured at the corner, or close to the corner, but had not quite come back and connected all the way along here. So they poured this one this morning already, gone to the second one. I'm not sure how many more to go, not many, one or two. Is today the day where this big beast comes out, along with this one and the ones beyond? Well, I think it would be a stretch to get all of them out, but maybe, just maybe, one of them comes out today. And is today the day where we start to see what comes next after this plastering? Based on how much they did yesterday, I'm pretty confident they will finish this stage today, because they've only got about a little over a third of this central island left to plaster. I think that might be it for the plastering stage. The engineer did say he would ask them what comes next, and I've said no, let's just find out as we go. It's an adventure. Well, it looks like the next stage in the crew's quarters is being concluded today. What I can only assume to be a bathroom. Upstairs, Ronwell is, I guess, going to finish off this wall for the master bedroom today. They have already framed in the door, and after some discussions, we're going to stick with a 2.1 meter high door frame for all the doors upstairs, partly to do with the fact that the ceiling height here is, I think, 2.9 meters. And there is a concern that if we go too close to that, number one, it's a little bit more tricky for them to build, and number two, it might cause problems for locations of aircon units. So that's what we've said. 2.1 meters for all the doors upstairs. Morning, JR. Oh, the singing JR today is working on the wall for this bedroom on the northeast corner. So I'm sure that will again get close to completion, if not done entirely today. And the north wall and the west wall both going to get attention, along with plumbing. So we got one of the plumbers on site today. I'm not sure if there's more. Oh, and now the dulcet tones of Marvin. I have no idea what that song is. Oh, you gotta love it when they come to work with a smile on their face. Back in the rather noisy kitchen, and more chipping out for the junction boxes going on. One over here, that's pretty drastic chipping out. Okay. I stood over here yesterday and talked a little bit about aircon, just wanted to follow up on that and just to let you know, I will go through in quite a bit more detail our whole process of deciding on an aircon provider, the brands, some of the contracts, questions and issues. I will do all of that, but it'll only be after we have selected the actual vendor for that. So maybe, as I said yesterday, maybe still about a week or so before we're ready to have that conversation. It's not easy for me to get close to this, but I will zoom in. What you should be able to see is a green colour mixture, and that is in this particular case, a Boyson Flexibond waterproofing material. So that's just mixed with cement, and then immediately they're going back over that again with another plaster coat layer, which again includes the Sahara waterproofing compound that they used previously. So in effect, you've got 3 levels of waterproofing going on there. The original plaster coat, then the Flexibond, then the next plaster coat. It doesn't ever, I think, get smoothed too much. Again, we're not clear on that just yet because we're learning as we go rather than asking in advance. But I think this level of new plaster coat, which is still not smooth, might be the last layer before we start putting tiles on. But that part we'll have to watch and see. Here we go. The big beast is out, or at least out enough to allow them to get the base tie beam in place. It's still got to be removed, obviously, but it looks like they've managed to cut through enough of the roots. Now just need to probably get some heavy lifting gear, in other words, the diggerator, round here and yank it out. The ones beyond, not out yet. We've got about an hour to go in the afternoon. So the big tree stump is still there, but they did move it enough to allow them to get the tie beam in, and that tie beam is now being poured. As before, in certain places they do use concrete hollow blocks effectively as forms for that base tie beam. So they've gone down, or they are going down at the moment, about 1, 2, 3, about 3 sections. So still a fair way to go, but the bigger issue is still removal of all the stuff in the way. Here at the pool, it's actually pretty hard to tell how much of that new waterproofing has been completed. We know they started down there somewhere in the deep end, and it may be where there is still that patchy darker colouring, and they've gone all the way up effectively the west side of the pool, round to the shallow end, and we're round to right here at the moment. So assuming that's correct, they've done a little over half of the external wall, still got the platform and seating area to do. Well, here where earlier on was a huge hole where the chipping out had been done, they've filled it back in. And something I have noticed on all of these boxes, I think, all the ones I can see anyway, if you can tell, they do stick out a little bit beyond the concrete hollow block. And that's how you want it, because on top of this we're going to have tiles. So what you don't want is the junction box set right back to the concrete hollow block, because it will mean that the screws at the front will have to be very long. So tick, well done electrician. Upstairs we've got walls going up. We knew that was going to be happening, so Ronwell did get this wall up to height, and they've now put the top tie beam in. The wall here on the side of the stairs, getting closer. Keep the dizzy pills handy. Over here, at the northeast bedroom, That wall is, they're just finishing, JR's just finishing the last level of concrete hollow block. And we'll look at some other stuff in a moment, but the other thing that's going on, got one of our plumbers on site. I'm not sure how many we actually have. There's orange pipe going up all over the place. Here we've got the west wall of this corner bedroom done. Not yet moved the other side of the column, so there will be windows along here. Well, yeah, I think more than one, maybe one, can't remember. And on the more south side of the building, quite a lot more still to be done over there. That's it, the bell's gone, 4:30. So I'm not going to do another walk around. It was about an hour ago that we did the last little one, so nothing dramatic since then that I am aware of. Did it all go to plan today? Well, pretty much. They didn't entirely remove any of the tree stumps over at the west end of the property, but they got the biggest one far enough out to get the tie beam in. So a little bit more work to do with that big one, still quite a lot more work to do with the ones beyond. We got more walls upstairs, we got more plumbing upstairs, which I wasn't aware was in today's plan. And over here at the pool, we started to see the next step of the waterproofing process, using that Boyson material and then another layer of the plaster coat on top with yet another element with the Sahara compound in there as well. I don't know if there are any more elements to the waterproofing of this pool. I suspect we will see the end of that process tomorrow with the Boyson and the plastering. Maybe not. Maybe the internal wall here might take them another day beyond that. We'll see. But in the end, it went pretty well today, I think. What could possibly go wrong tomorrow? Come back and find out.